Allow me to paint you a picture. I'm 9 years old, 65 pounds, with bifocals that tinted in the sun. I've got a big perm and those good fluffy bangs that go, yeah, all kinds of 80s awesomeness. I'm strolling up to you with a big old smile and neon Jesus t-shirt, and you have never met me before. With a thrust out of my tiny hand, I say, "Hi, my name is Marie. Are you saved?" Yeah, big hit in the sixth grade. Raucous confidence, resilience since day one. Fast forward like 8 years and three business ventures, and I'm strolling into a Panera for another networking meeting. Coffee, chit chat, this and that. And I knew who he was before he even said my name. My heart knew. Marie Hale? He boomed. Jim Rosas. I've heard so many good things about you, but I expected you to be older. Oh no, I'm 45, I quipped. But I bathe in the blood of young children, and I really think it's starting to work. If I had known back then that he wasn't just a sales coach, but also a body language expert, I might have played it a little bit cooler. He caught my eyes darting around, and I caught his shiny, newly placed wedding ring. I was 6 months too late. Over the next 10 years, we built our businesses side by side. We had dinners together with his wife and my boyfriend, Raphael, and we built a friendship. Half torture and half the closest thing I could get. And so I stayed. After dating Raphael for 9 years with no hope of Jim ever leaving his wife, I got married, mostly because I was 30 and afraid that my eggs were old and trying to kill me. Raphael knew Jim was the love of my life, and he married me anyway. Jim didn't come to the wedding. A year and a half after that, when I was 4 months pregnant, Jim left his wife. All of those years of sitting next to him, the longing in every sense of my being taking over. And one day we were on a plane to New York City for a day of client meetings. There was a lull in what was a very heated conversation in the room, and it just fell to silence. And the client, Jackie, quipped, "Did the two of you just have a conversation without speaking?" Yes. Yes, we did. I felt the flush take over my entire body, and I asked for a divorce at 6 o'clock that night. We got stuck in Queens that weekend for 3 days. There was a big old storm. We did nothing but swim in sheets and eat New York pizza in bed. And in that hotel room, we found nirvana and our home. Our adventures as a family began, and 3 years later, we opened a business together. And every morning, we would walk our little family to daycare with Lily holding his hand and chattering the whole way. We'd drop her off, and we'd hold each other's hand as we made it to the Brown line and took the train to our little one-person office that we loved so much. Of course, I had confidence. I had every dream I'd ever had come true. And then in one horrible afternoon in February, at 49, he left this world. He left us. I can still hear the sound of the body bag zipping and the echoes of my screams as I tried to find someone to take Lily so she wouldn't see. I shattered. A million pieces of my soul poured out into nothing. And just like that, the dream was gone. But I had a business to keep going and a daughter to raise, and it was just me. It was just me and half a soul. And so I put on my red lipstick, bold lipstick, the kind that made everyone look at your mouth as you walk by. Because if they were looking at my lips, maybe they wouldn't look at my eyes. And if I didn't have confidence for the moment, then I would fake it. I would lean on my resilience to hold me together. I had 3 weeks to bury him and decide if I was going to take his role, teach his classes, and be the whole team in our family business, and to learn how to mourn publicly. Jackie O is one tough broad. I lined up doctors so that I wouldn't let that part of my life fall apart too. And it was, it was perfunctory. It was something that I could just check off a list. And I'm not sure if you've noticed, but I'm white. Like really white, like that kind of Canadian pale that nobody really aspires to. And so of course a dermatologist was on my list. And she took that little patch of dry skin that I've been asking doctors about for years and sent it to Florida, where skin cancer is born. And 3 days later, I got the call. Basal cell serocarcinoma. Get in now. It was in the middle of my face, between my nose and my lip, and the world would never see me the same. A few weeks before my 38th birthday, they cut through my face over and over until a deep hole the size of a cigar butt was open on my lip. And if I hadn't lost my confidence then, I was at zero. And I didn't have my hero to hold me up. My legs wobbled as I walked back and forth from the operating room and back each time. And now I was physically being held. My mom was there, and my Laura, she had been my ride or die for almost 15 years now. And she made sure I knew that die was not an option. They told me my lips would never look the same, that there would be a 1/4 inch difference in my lip line. And I grabbed that tube of lipstick that had steeled me in the past. I will still wear red. Never one to face a challenge quietly, I formed a little plan. I still had stages to be on and business to close, and so like I've always done when terrified, I took it head on. As they cut through my lip over and over, I chronicled the surgery on Facebook, and I gave resources on how others could get checked. And I asked them to send me pictures of themselves wearing red lipstick. And I did it every step of the way wearing my signature red. My little stunts, I will still wear red, resulted in over 300 people getting into their derms that year, and 13 lives were saved. And the truth was, it allowed me to hide in plain sight. Being out there, I didn't have to deal with all of the loneliness. I could convince myself through the filter of Facebook that I was surrounded. But the only person I let close was Laura. We had been friends since she was making skanky comments in the back of my belly dancing class. And now she lived with me 3 days a week. She was the best auntie that Lily could have ever asked for. And she was running my office. She stood next to me and let me scream and fall apart and put myself back together. And she brought really great tequila. And just when I stopped feeling broken, it was her turn to break. We picked Lily up from camp, and in a blur that I could have never imagined, she didn't come home with us that day. She felt funny, she couldn't breathe. And when the blood clot hit her lung, all of us lost our air that day. I shattered again. I used the F word in her eulogy. And I had no choice. We were surrounded and alone. And I looked for that little girl who I once was in Jesus t-shirt number 7. I looked for that naive ability to walk towards the goal when you don't know what dangers lie ahead. But I had walked through all of them in just under 18 months. And so I just keep walking. Feelings on the outside, lonely and broken and beautiful and wholly unashamed of the pain. That's my resilience. Because there might be another soul out there who was breaking and alone. And to her I say, hi, my name's Marie. What's your shade?